think he'll get it done. But you better have it. I mean, the program is good right now. It's just not as great as everyone predicted it would be. And I don't know anyone who could come in right now and ensure that it is going to be better.
I completely agree. I think that he is finally getting it to a point where we are getting those great 2 and 3D players. But at the same time, I do completely agree with you on your point of he has to win the game. I mean, we can't just keep going on forever without beating Ohio State.
No. I mean, that becomes too difficult to overcome. Sean, thank you. I mean, that's one thing every fan of Michigan and Ohio State know how important that game is. We're heading to a break. Final hour is directly in front of us.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Welcome back to No Brainer. Gary,
I'll take cars and trucks.
what's the best way to protect your engine from gum, varnish, and corrosion?
Stay-Bill 360.
Gasoline with ethanol can go bad in as little as blank.
30 days?
Using Stay-Bill 360 ethanol treatment year-round is what?
Is it a no-brainer?
It is! You win peace of mind, Gary!
Awesome! Can I have money?
Stay-Bill 360. It's a no-brainer. Available where fuel additives are sold.
I'm Joe Ford for ESPN Pensacola. Week 1 of the high school football season is in the books, and what a week it was in a game that you heard Thursday night on our sister station News Radio 92.3 AM 1620. The Escambia Gators showed they're a force to be reckoned with. After giving up the go-ahead score in the second quarter, the Gators ripped off 34 unanswered points, including 3 consecutive touchdowns in the third quarter off of 3 consecutive fumble recoveries. On Friday night, some unfortunate circumstances led to the Washington Pine Forest game being called without a winner, but what everyone did see is that it is a new era at Washington, and their fans should be very excited for what the future holds. Coming up on Friday, myself and Justin Patrick will be back at Washington High School as the Wildcats and the West Florida Jaguars look for their first wins of the season. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock, and you can hear the game on our sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620.
Sports are live and local on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1. Be a part of the show. Call or text at 263-1330.
Are you ready for some football?
Foosball.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
That's right. We are football. ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1. Get your morning kicked off with the former NFL star on Gulick and Wingo.
Wait a minute, you what?
Former NFL coach Kay Stevenson.
Well, you from Pensacola, weren't you?
Yes.
Well, Pensacola always had good players.
Followed by your favorite college football alumni show.
Roll Tide.
The mouth of the South, Paul Feinbaum, talks everything college football.
The dynasty is not over.
And the Sports Drive on your way home.
Jack's always good to talk to you.
On Friday night, Joe Ford calls the biggest high school football games. College Game Day kicks off the weekend, followed by our very own Davis Allen on the Sports Call.
Antonio Brown, I'm having a tough time believing in.
And your home for UWF Argonaut football.
Keep going, let's go.
On Sunday, join us at World of Beer for the NFL Tailgate Show. The season is here, and we're not playing games. Well, actually, we are. ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
That's football, guys.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage at $75 per month, level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Termbusters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
If you're hitting 200 at the plate for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, life isn't that great. But if you're hitting up 200 before the Wahoos games, things can't get much better. 200 South is your Blue Wahoos pre-party destination. Grab an ice-cold draft with the best selection in town at World of Beer. Relax in the most hoppin' spot at Blend Lounge. Or grab a quick bite to eat at Graffiti Pizza or Taco Aguave before the game. 200 South Palafox in downtown Pensacola. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks are all right, but a slice and an ice-cold draft, now that's a home run.
It's almost fall, and that means football. And ESPN Pensacola 1330 is all about football. We've got UWF Argos football every Saturday, high school football every Friday night. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1 WEBY Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
And we're doing it live on a Tuesday. Coming up on the Sports Drive, we're digging in deep as week one of the college football season gets underway. And where in the world will the Indianapolis Colts go to now? Stay tuned.
Emmitt Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, and it's caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmitt Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. I am Chad Brilliante, glad to be with you as always, alongside Joe Ford is ready to get this potty started. We got a lot to talk about today. Look, I'm done with the shenanigans of Florida and Miami because now Tuesday is sort of that traditional day. Look, there's commercials of like, guess what day it is? What? With the camel, and guess what day? You know, look, we're not there yet. We're not at hump day. What? But we're at Tuesday, and we're starting to fade away from that Florida-Miami game because we have a lot of other games. Auburn versus Oregon. First time starting a true freshman since 1946 out there in one Bo Nix. Making me feel old because I remember watching Patrick Nix like it was yesterday. Watching the guys out there like Alabama and Duke, it's going to be one heck of a coin toss. Whew, should be fun. And then Alabama will roll tied by about 50 points. In the game with LSU and Texas, and so many games coming up here that we're going to talk about and get into, and we're looking forward to doing that here today. We'll get to more on Andrew Luck and some of the other players that retired early. Rob Gronkowski spoke out, got emotional, had a couple Bud Heavies, shotgun to beer and neon, and then fist pumped his way into saying, look, he lost the joy of playing. And I completely understand it. If any sport, when you talk about a sport, if you've lost the joy, the one thing everybody should never judge anybody by is walking away from a bunch of cash to live their life. Now, with that being said, if you take a bunch of cash and then don't play for a team and then walk away, like if some guy has got an agent back there wheeling and dealing, sharking the team, and all of a sudden he gets a 4-year, $75 million deal, and then the next day he's like, all right, $30 million's guaranteed, going to Barbados, starting a fishing company. We're done here, folks. Like, now that's a con move, right? Yeah, like, then that's a dirtbag play. But for people that have been banged up or are peeing blood or can't move, can't walk, they can't see straight, have had 15 concussions, can barely get up in the morning, and have lost the joy to play, and are giving up millions of dollars, who are we to tell them that they can't do that? And Rob Gronkowski, he talked a little bit about it earlier. I know our good friend Joe Ford had a chance to get that audio. And Joe, that's one of the things we talk about all these athletes. Rob Gronkowski was one of many, but Calvin Johnson before him. And this is a trend that's going to begin. We're only talking about the big hitters. There are many of the little fish out there swimming that have swam away and will never be seen again, but we don't talk about them because they're 2- and 3-yard special teamers that we never are going to talk about again.
And like I hinted at yesterday, how many more athletes who are currently in the NFL that think and their bodies feel the exact same way as Rob Gronkowski's did, as Andrew Luck's did, that won't step away because they need the NFL. They need that paycheck coming in. The thing about Andrew Luck and Rob Gronkowski famously has never spent a dime of his NFL earnings. He's lived specifically off of endorsement money. But, we see so many examples of guys who just blow through their money. I'm not saying that all NFL players do. That's preposterous. But there certainly has to be, I would think, a good number of NFL players who are going through the motions, who really hate their lives just because of the pain and anguish that they're going through, but they feel like they don't have a choice, that they have to stick it out for the team, for the fans, for this, rather than stepping away because the life after football doesn't look as bright as it does for Andrew Luck and Rob Gronkowski. So that's what I keep going back to is, how many more guys that we don't even know about are feeling the exact same way, but are going to lace it up on Sundays. They're going to do great for your fantasy team, but inside they're really tormented by that. And what was really striking to me, Rob Gronkowski, very emotional in talking about the game, and you can draw from it whether or not he's emotional about missing the game. That's possible. Could be just emotional because, he's just really kind of letting us in on how taxing it was for him. And give me just a second. Our producer's an idiot. There we go.
But I want to be clear to my fans.
That was the earlier producer, by the way,
in a good
the 1 o'clock show.
Football was bringing me down, and I didn't like it. And I was losing that joy in life, like the joy. I'm sorry right now, but I really was, and I was fighting through it. And I knew what I signed up for, and I knew what I was fighting through. And I knew I just have to fix myself.
And here's the thing. These athletes that Rob Gronkowski and Andrew Luck are two guys that have been on the injured, pretty much the IR their entire careers over the past 5 or 6 years for sure.
And physically noticeable with Gronk. I mean, he was a shell of himself.
And most of us sit there around 11 and 30, and whether you're dabbling with, sitting there with NFL Network or CBS with Bill Cowher and Boomer Esiason, or you're on Fox with Jimmy Johnson and Howie and Bradshaw and his antics and listening to the fun of what they're doing. Whatever network you're watching right before game time, everybody today is sitting here on your social device, as for me, I'm sure, and we're sitting there looking to get the report of whether or not your player is playing. Right. And whether or not the guy that you're playing against is at church or not, because he might not start that guy, and you're like, oh, crap, he's going to get a 0 with this guy? Like sitting there. So here's the deal with a lot of those guys. Rob Gronkowski has been on that list pretty much the entire 4 years, and he helped the team come back last year, made some plays. No problem. He retired on top. He went out in a good way. I'd much rather see our star players retire on top, and I'm a Pats fan. Look, this one directly affected me. Would I rather see Gronk play as a selfish fan? Absolutely, because all the other guys keep getting cut or hurt right now on the New England Patriot roster. The difference is I got no problem with it. He went out on top. He helped out, won that game against Kansas City, and he retired in a way where people will still remember him for being the Gronk. You watch Hakeem Olajuwon, like on the Toronto Raptors, Patrick Ewing, who had like 17 knee braces on 2 knees in Orlando, and I'm sitting there like, they were like, ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Ewing, and he's like,
got the walker.
Patrick Ewing, let me get up, like trying to get up on the side of the bench, like, and people are just sort of like golf clapping, like this is embarrassing. Sean Kemp, the Rain Man, who could literally not dunk a ball by the end of his career. We don't want to see that your star player go out that way. We don't want to see Jerry Rice in Seattle for the Seahawks at wide receiver. We don't want to see MJ as a wizard in his final year. We want to see the best of the best, and in this case, that's where they're going to end up. And Andrew Luck's situation is one that many people today, I would hope, understand when you've had that many injuries. Torn cartilage in 2 ribs, partially torn abdomen, a lacerated kidney left him peeing blood, at least 2 concussions, a torn labrum in his left shoulder, in his right throwing shoulder, which is even worse. I had a torn rotator cuff, and I know I'm playing with like a wiffle ball with my daughter, and it hurts. Nintendo Wii bowling one time, I injured that's sort of embarrassing, but injured my arm. There are some times when you get to the point where you realize these injuries are going to continue to come back. And for Luck, he didn't want to take that one shot where he never was going to walk again, or do that where he wants to at least have a life. And that's his decision to make. He's walking away from $58 million. John Steele, the retirement planners, will break down more coming up here later on in today's show. Well, with football season means around here you hear a couple roll tides. Nick Saban, there's been a video going around. In 2014, it talked about a guy right here from our own backyard. His name was DJ Petway. He played at Pensacola Catholic, 6'2", 270-pound linebacker. Many of you listening right now probably remember him. Got an opportunity to play. Second-degree robbery. Got kicked off the team. They were using credit cards and shouldn't have been doing what they did. Went to Last Chance U, East Mississippi Community College. Got a chance to get back on the team. And people rip Saban for giving a 19-year-old kid a second chance. But today, as we live in a society, I would always say in a yearbook quote, if you could have one on life, tombstones, you only pay for so many letters. It's tough to, you just write like, we love you, Pops. You can't write like a whole entire sentence. It costs too much. But when it comes down to putting a yearbook stamp on life, to me, it would be make the best opportunity of your second chance. Because in life, we're always going to screw something up. Even with your marriage right now, or with your kids, or any case. Whether you've gone through a divorce, whether you're 90 and you're like, well, I lived with my wife for 60 years, and we had the same house my pops built with my same hands. These paws right here. You've still done I'm sure you've made some poor choices in your life. Everybody gets a second chance. And when you do, make the best of it. And Nick Saban gave this guy a second chance. Paul Feinbaum ripped him on a few things about second chances when it was Cam Robinson and Hootie Jones. And Saban made some pretty good comments, and a lot of people are against the winners. It's like the dark side. Dun, 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 when Nick Saban is out there. But in this case, his words should always be heard when talking about this case and giving people second opportunities. Here's what Saban had to say.
There's always a lot of criticism out there when somebody does something wrong. Everybody wants to know how you're going to punish the guy. All right, but there's not enough for 19 and 20-year-old kids, people out there saying, why don't you give them another chance? All right, so I'm going to give a speech right now about this. Like, where do you want him to be? Guy makes a mistake. Where do you want him to be? You want him to be in the street? Or do you want him to be here graduating? You know, when I was over there at the Nagurski, Muhsin Muhammad, who played 15 years for the Carolina Panthers, played for me at Michigan State. Everybody in the school, every newspaper guy, everybody was killing the guy because he got in trouble and said there's no way he should be on our team. I didn't kick him off the team. I suspended him. I made him do stuff. He graduated from Michigan State. He played 15 years in the league. All right, he's a president of a company now. And he has 7 children, and his oldest daughter goes to Princeton. So who was right? I feel strong about this now, really strong. All right, about all the criticism out there of every guy that's 19 years old that makes a mistake, and you all kill him. And then some people won't stand up for him. So my question to you is, where do you want him to be? You want to condemn him to a life sentence? Or do you want the guy to have his children going to Princeton?
Pretty good ending to that right there. I mean, how do you rebuttal to that? You want to condemn a guy, kick him off the team. And Muhsin Muhammad, frankly, and a side note, I wish Nick Saban would have sent him to another school based on the fact that he went on to have about 250 yards against my Pats from daylight come, and they won a Delhomme right there in the Carolina Panthers Super Bowl to Muhsin Muhammad every single play. Him and Steve Smith just terrorized that defense. So on that note, hey, teach as your own. But what he was able to do is an incredible career, and that was in Big Ten country. You remember Muhsin Muhammad, I'm sure, when he played against Ohio State. But what he's pretty much saying is, look, he got kicked off the team. He went through the ropes. He did everything right. I gave him another opportunity. For DJ Petway, he ended up going out there and getting a chance to play with the New Orleans Saints. Was an undrafted free agent. Got a contract with the Saints, got a chance to play, and made the best. If he would have never got a chance to go back to Alabama and never got a second opportunity, would have never got that opportunity. And maybe even if it was a little bit of we're not talking $50 million of Andrew Luck money. We're talking about even if it's $400,000. Think about the people driving around today. If you're getting off work, if you're sitting in there in the rain, and the people that I went by with Roads Inc. today that were working out there on potholes when it was out there probably making $40,000, $50,000 a year, and they were out there working and busting it while it's 100 degrees and raining, when lightning bolts hitting everywhere, and they're not going inside or stopping to go grab a lunch break. All of those people out there, imagine what you could do with the possibility of a veteran's minimum, which is $400,000 in the NFL today. Those opportunities and all that might be related back to one second chance, one opportunity. And pay it forward, being able to have that opportunity. Saban, you could say a lot of things. That's not his real hair color. You can say whatever you want, but I'm telling you what. Nick Saban is exactly right, in my opinion, on this. If a kid is 19, he's made a decision outside of murder, rape somewhere where he's not coming back to the school, I'm all about second chances, and so should you.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple important things here, and we as college football fans especially like to be the moral authority on these types of decisions all the time. It's really unique to college football. There's really no outcry quite like a college football fan base when somebody on your favorite NFL team does something wrong. So it's weird in that respect. But I mean, I think there has to be certain instances like you've alluded to where, hey, there just has to be a zero tolerance policy for certain things. I suppose that's maybe different for each individual. So really, that's up to the head coach of the program. It says, hey, if you are caught, if you are convicted, or if we have found you to do these infractions, unfortunately, there are consequences, and for these particular infractions, the consequences, you have to go. But with that being said, yeah, I mean, I agree. As somebody who has received multiple second chances over the course of my life, there was the opportunity for me to have to earn that second chance. It wasn't just a matter of, hey, you screwed up, don't do it again, hand slap, go back out on the field, right? So there's a balance to that, and I think most coaches are doing that currently, where the penalty is committed, and the athlete has to show through not just words, but through action that, hey, I want the second chance. I need to earn it back.
That's
and
that
you know,
part's well
so
said.
there is a two parts to this equation. It's not just a coach, because I'm sure in this particular example, Muhsin Muhammad, did everything he could. He did everything that was asked of him, and really was able to turn the corner both professionally and just as a person. So in instances like that, absolutely, I'm all for that.
Love that second part. You can touch the anchor, by the way.
Very good.
There you go. You can touch the anchor right there. That felt really awkward, touching my anchor like that in studio. But I'm telling you, Joe.
On camera, too.
Jeez. Touch my anchor on camera, folks. We have eyewitnesses. But I think that's one of those kind of moments where you're exactly right. It is not just about the second chance. It's about the next move made by the guy that is trying to earn the second chance. It's like anything. I mean, look, if someone screws up on your meal, if somebody immediately comes out there and is like, oh, your steak is overcooked, you asked for medium rare, and this thing looks like it can bounce like a basketball, okay, I'm sorry about that. We'll get you a new steak. Meal's on me. You might even come back with like, no, as long as you cook my steak back, everything's good. For me and my paycheck, I just stay silent and smile at the guy like, thank you very much for that free meal. But overall, it's the second move. If that guy comes out and be like, let me see that steak. Looks good to me. Sir, clearly this is not what I ordered. Go find a new restaurant. This ain't Outback or something like that. That's the next move from that guy. Now, all of a sudden, the storm is not just a storm. It's a tornado or a hurricane coming. And that's the thing is, it's the next move made by the player. So if he's humble, he takes a path, he goes to a junior college. Cam Newton. Blinn Jr. You think Cam Newton, the guy that's wearing Mary Poppins outfits and the things he's doing, dressing in cheetah pants, do you think he wanted to go to Blinn Jr. College? That guy wanted to go to the middle of Texas and play junior college? No, but he got in trouble. He served his time. He went to Auburn. They won the bidding war. And or just kidding, by the way. And the next thing you know, national title, Church goes up in Georgia, and they win a title, a national champion, and now the guy's worth about $80 million. But he had to take a humble approach. He knew he was good. Those guys don't want to do that. But sometimes you got to suck it up, and you got to make that decision. And I know Cam Newton, even though we joke about his outfits and the things, he does a ton for charity.
Oh, yeah.
Cam is a good person at heart. We like to joke with him. I've talked to Pat Dye off the air about him, and I want to say, Cam Newton, for what he does for a bunch of charities, for a lot of kids organizations, children's hospitals, kids fighting cancer. He does a ton of work. He dresses for every Halloween and goes there first. And I want to make that clear to everybody because as much as we like to joke on this show, Cam Newton as a person, even though he rubs people the wrong way sometimes with his antics, he means well and does a lot for charity, and that should not be forgotten. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about what's going on here. From the Padres, Rick Rossing the Sox, that was funny, to KFC, stay in your lane, no plant alternatives, because guess what? They're not coming to knocking. Those people are not going to be getting finger-licking good food from you. They'll go to places that have a little healthier alternative. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
This is a message for all parents. If you as an adult think it's tough being separated or divorced, have you truly stopped to consider how your being separated or divorced affects your children? How parents treat one another, either during or after divorce, can have lifelong effects on your children. Whether you are separated from your spouse or even actually divorced, in either situation, keep in mind that you and your spouse are parents forever. Hello, my name is Stephen T. Holman, and I am a family law attorney. If you have questions regarding custody, visitation, or child support, call me today for a free consultation at 435-6909. That's 435-6909.
Oh, it looks like your appendix is about to burst. We're going to have to go in and take it out.
Is there going to be pain, doctor?
Oh, yeah. A lot. Just think about puppies or whatever. Scalpel.
Surgery, no-brainer. Anesthesia. Barbasol's no-brainer. Finally making razors to go along with America's favorite shaving cream. Try Barbasol's Ultra 6 Plus razor with 6 ultra-thin blades for a close, comfortable shave.
Barbasol. How does a Hothead Burritos bowl piled high with tender, juicy grilled steak get any better? When we couple it with the original partner to any great steak, A1 Steak Sauce. New Hothead A1 Steak Sauce bowls are now available for a limited time. Mouth-watering steak combined with all of your favorite Hothead toppings and finished with A1 Steak Sauce. Try it toasted for the ultimate steak experience. Hit hotheadburritos.com now for online ordering and delivery.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, Craneworks. The Craneworks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give Craneworks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth-moving equipment. Call Craneworks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
Does pain have you sidelined on the bench? Clearway Pain Solutions wants you back in the game. Our team of compassionate, board-certified pain specialists, chiropractors, and physical therapists will relieve your pain and restore your function. For comprehensive, patient-centered care, visit a Clearway doctor at one of our convenient locations near you. Call Clearway Pain Solutions today at 855-527-PAIN or visit our website at clearwaypain.com. That's 855-527-PAIN or clearwaypain.com.
Hello, everybody. You're looking live at Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the rivers flow with ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
Where every day is Saturday and everyone's a fan, even babies.
Fan babies.
And the seasons never change because the only season is college football season. Get a taste of Fansville this fall during a college football game near you. Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Grab some today.
At ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1, we are football. Catch the biggest high school football games on Fridays. Every UWF game on Saturdays. Then on Sundays, get ready for big games with the NFL Tailgate Show from 10 till noon. Plus, talk football with Coach K weekdays from noon till 1, recapping the games and breaking down the upcoming matchups. It's football season, and it's on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
Welcome back to the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1, also on 94.5 currently for football season, and also simulcast on Blab TV each and every night from 5 to 7 and replayed midnight to 2 a.m. You know, this song right here, if you're under the age of 50, the first thing that comes to mind is Will Ferrell dressed in a ridiculous outfit, hitting a cowbell, and Bruce coming in there, Bruce Dickinson, the cock of the walk, walking in there and saying we need a little more cowbell.
Puts his pants on the same as everybody else,
that's right.
Makes gold records, baby.
That's right. What does that even mean? But that is the moment right there where age group. My dad, who's 63, actually went to Blue Oyster Cult concerts as a kid. So he doesn't think that. He's like, I actually like the band. I'm like, well, I just thought it was Will Ferrell. That's the difference of ages right there.
Not Bruce Dickinson. The
Bruce Dickinson. We want to make that clear. Like the Ohio State, Bruce Dickinson.
I think he trademarked it first, probably.
By the way, I'm not going to get too much into this, but the plant-based chicken that they're testing right now, the Colonel, his crispy strips, most of the people going through that line or you've seen in that line, they are not worried about that. That's not stay in your lane. That's what I'm saying. The whole Popeyes Chick-fil-A thing, the battle that was going on, that was fun because they both do chicken.
Right.
Let's serve there's plenty of places that are going this vegan route and all that. There's a grocery aisle now at Publix where you can get BOGOs on them. And that's cool. Shopping's supposed to be a pleasure there. So just saying, I don't think anybody going that line besides the guy that's sitting in the ninth row is really going to care about this. So I think before they send it out, because they're going to do a bunch of people doing results for it, I'm already letting you know. When I go to get one of those bowls that have mashed potatoes mixed with 50 other things in them and pouring as much gravy on them as possible and maybe some ranch on top of that, I'm not worried about the vegan alternative to that meal because I'm going to lay and pass out and enjoy every part of that finger-licking meal. Let's move on here to some football talk as we take a look here at NFL Hard Knocks. Tonight, what are we on, week 4?
Yeah.
They didn't start on a week 0, right? So
no,
week 4,
okay.
All right. Week 4. And do you believe everything has been settled with Brown's helmet? We have moved on?
I think so.
What can Brown do for you this year in fantasy?
Well, he should be pretty good. I mean, I think his days as a a first-round picker gone. A lot of about fantasy football. I mean, I love fantasy football. I like to think of myself as an expert, but you may be.
I'm an
wrong,
expert on fantasy football.
Yeah, so his days as a surefire first rounder are gone. I'm personally, if I was going after him, I probably wouldn't do so until maybe the early third round. Only because I think, a lot in fantasy football, a lot of your success is, number one, your talent, but two, the opportunity. And there's a big difference, I think, going from Ben Roethlisberger to Derek Carr. Having Le'Veon Bell there along with Juju Smith-Schuster. So I think he'll get his counting stats. He may take a tick down in touchdowns, but he's still going to be a dangerous guy. Probably, finishing outside of the top 5 wide receivers, but this will be a good player, but not the dominant force that he was in the past 3-4 years or so, where he was clearly the number one guy. I think guys have passed him up now.
And Smith-Schuster, to that point, is going to be a bad juju in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He could put up some big-time numbers now that he's the man. I think overall, though, you look at the game itself, and there's sort of it's like the wide receiver lovers in fantasy football. I always go with the if you can get 2 good running backs early, you sort of set your core. You can actually play a quarterback pretty much and find the matchups. And it's not going to differentiate that much. So if you're quarterback every week, unless you have like a Patrick Mahomes, but if you've got a quarterback like, let's say, a Phillip Rivers, or you have a game where you pick up a guy like a Matt Ryan, or you pick up a guy like, let's say, a Kyler Murray, but he's going up against a team that's not that good.
He's playing,
the Colts.
Right,
he's playing another. Well, Colts D's all right.
I mean, Kyler Murray going, to Los Angeles is probably not a start I want to make.
Or the Raiders. But that's not a bad start.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, but the difference between getting a Christian McCaffrey versus a guy like Latavius Murray, for Minnesota, which people are like, well, you better not pick him up with Dalvin Cook. Well, hey, who knows? He's not even exactly.
Yeah.
But you always know those guys where you play against them and they're just putting in filler running backs because they never drafted them or their guys got hurt. That to me, Duke Johnson over the years, starting a guy like Duke Johnson or one of those guys, like anybody that has Theo Riddick on their team over the last 4 years,
PPR,
just
baby.
hoping. But his cap is going to be like 7 catches for 40 yards,
right?
And you're going to exactly. That's the same, man. If he fumbles, you're screwed. But
right.
but those guys that have those guys, and you always sort of laugh. If you get Elliott and McCaffrey, people like that, which is not easy to do, but if you were able to get
not this year, no,
not this year. But if you get that type of lineup, you're pretty much set and you can build around everybody else. Wide receivers, though, it's sort of a picket going on because all of the running backs are taking their points. I mean, what used to be the stars, it was a league where the big-time receivers would get huge stats and the running backs were running backs. Now the running backs are getting the most receptions. They're becoming, Christian McCaffrey is going to be the leading receiver on Carolina. Le'Veon Bell will be the leading receiver, if healthy, on the New York Jets. This is almost a guarantee. So it's a change of regime of what the NFL is today, and that's just how it's going to be. Alvin Kamara for New Orleans, Todd Gurley for teams out there like LA.
This year, I think, and kind of doing mock drafts and just kind of seeing where guys are falling. In past years, really for as long as I've been playing fantasy football, there was it was almost unheard of to draft a wide receiver in the first round. It was running back, and then towards the middle of the second round is then when you'd start having your wide receivers. The game has changed such in that not only are the 3 down running backs like the Saquons, the McCaffreys, the Elliots close to, if not leading their teams in passing, but there are so few of those 3 down running backs now. There's really a tier this year in fantasy of 4 running backs, Zeke included if he's not holding out, where he is your bell cow. After that, it's a crapshoot. And wide receivers are going earlier and earlier because, especially as PPR leagues start to become more popular, a lot of people are kind of stacking up their teams with good receivers and hoping to get one of those pass-catching backs like a James White, a Tariq Cohen, where No, they're not going to be as good as Saquon Barkley or the top-tier running backs, but if they're getting 5 to 6 catches every game, who knows? They may break one every now and then in the course of the game. They could have, some really big weeks.
Tonight is the final Pensacola Blue Wahoo home game.
How about that?
So how about that right there? 73-60 on the year. 35-28 in the second half, and a nice win last night, 4-2.
Yeah.
Was listening to that right here on ESPN Pensacola with Chris Garagiola on the call. Tonight is Fat Tuesday, and they'll be out there 3.5 back with 5 to play, or actually with 6 to play left, and we're looking forward to it. Tomorrow they'll have that rare day off, which makes us work 2 hours, and then we'll have to get used to it. And then Montgomery, they'll head out to take on those Biscuits. Hopefully butt up some Biscuits and get some wins, as they'll be able to sit there and go ahead and make that run. Remember, they're 3.5 back of Biloxi, the team that stole the last 5 of 6 against them in order to win the first half. So maybe we can repay the favor and get that done and make it happen. But tonight, final home game. So if you're getting off work, looking through, I believe, looking good. Okay, we're getting that. So. We're sort of getting a quick little glance outside the windows. It looks like there should be a baseball game. Not getting a text from Chris here. So we had a lot of rain earlier, but they should have the game here tonight. I am not a meteorologist. I know the islands in the Bahamas are about to get crushed right there. The city of Atlantis might actually be underwater by the end of the week, but it's all good because we're way up here for now. When we come back, as long as Jim Cantori's not showing up on the beach, we should be okay, not boarding our house. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more of what's going on. Steve Spreer's in town. We talked a little as the coach down the road at Scopolo's New World Landing tonight. That action gets going in a few minutes from now, and if you want to make your way out there until about 8 o'clock tonight, the old ball coach in town as the Northwest Florida Gator Club having a chance to sit down with him. And the event, $25. That's not too shabby at all. That's the price of a popcorn and a movie that Michael Bay just had a bunch of things blowing up. We're coming back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
The new season of 30 for 30 podcasts is here.
I don't know if I'm surprised or not. I didn't like the comments, obviously.
A 5-part series on former Clippers owner Donald Sterling.
I'm sure the NBA knew we have a bad apple, and he finally up and we have proof now.
The Sterling Affairs from 30 for 30 podcasts and The Undefeated.
You can hear it in my voice that I'm upset with it because I know these guys still might go out there and play.
Find it wherever you get your podcasts or at 30for30podcast.com/Sterling.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
The year was 1919. Barbasol shaving cream was invented by a dreamer named Frank Shields. The world's first modern shave cream, Barbasol changed the face of shaving forever. A few billion shaves later, Frank's dream lives on. Behind every face is a dream. Barbasol proudly salutes every fearless, self-assured, wide-eyed dreamer all across America. Celebrating 100 years. Barbasol.
Every home run. There's a swing and a drive out to left. Pache at the track, at the wall. It is gone. Every strikeout. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Whether they're home or away, every minute of every Blue Wahoos game. And the ball game is over with one of the greatest comebacks in the history of this Wahoos franchise. This is the home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Regions wants to know, what's a financial tip you'd give your younger self?
Retirement is the best form of self-care.
Regions believes banking on your own terms is a big deal. Maybe you value great service and convenient solutions, or you simply want a banker that gets your priorities. Take control of your finances with the kind of financial clarity your younger self could only dream of.
There's no shame in showing up just for the free food.
Because some things are bigger than banking. Switch for good at regions.com/biggerthanbanking. Regions, official bank of the SEC. Member FDIC.
It's been a long day. It's been a fun one. Now that I'm doing the afternoon shows too, Joe has an equal partner in daytime shows to nighttime shows. As you know, you can't really complain to a guy that's like, yeah, I'm here every day, folks, doing the same thing. So, Joe, you can catch on Talk Football with Coach K each and every afternoon from 12 to 1 with the former NFL coach. I've been doing the college shows. Today we had a chance to sit down with Jeff Davis, talk some Florida Gator football. Looking forward to that event tonight. And Steve Spurrier being in town right here in Pensacola. And with already one game in the books, the Florida Gators 1-0. And I explained it yesterday. It is not a game where you're going to get great headlines. The headlines read, "Inconsistent Franks wins the football game." But that's not one. How about this one? I thought this one might be clever for the corniness of the show. How about Franks is a wiener? How about that? Okay, I'm just getting the side ball on that one. Okay, we're moving on there.
Where's my stop sign? There it is. Whoa, Chad.
Franks
easy on the
is a wiener in a bad.
Easy on the jokes, man.
But still got grilled. But looking at this one here, burned. He got burned on the grill. Let's go ahead and move on here to these games. We're going to take a look here at the biggest games of the weekend ahead. Thursday night, we've got a slate. We're going to go over the ranked football games and the big ones, must-see TV. And this one is going to be other plans. Joe and I are going to break down whether we've got other plans. We'll take a glance or glued and loving it.
All right, so we're going from 1 to 3.
Yeah, so pretty much 1 to 3 on here on this matchup. First one, let's start off. And by the way, I'm just going straight down the top rankings of the games, so you can see here with my Vanna White hand, you see my team is the first one. Okay. I did not pick this one. Look at that laugh right there. Florida A&M and UCF is the first. Listen, that is the first. You can go to ESPN.com right now and check out the first Thursday night game, Florida A&M and UCF. I will start this one off glued and loving every minute of that beat down of the rattles. That rattlesnake will be chopped in half like those videos of some of the rednecks I've seen out in places. Some guy in Andalusia killed like 9 of them out there, and I'm like, where do you live? I would be out of that house if I saw one rattlesnake inside my house. But good for you, sir, of taking them out. They're actually very protective for the nature, but this isn't a nature show. So let's go ahead and move it. Glued and loving it because we're going to kick their you-know-what.
Yeah, so if you're married and like you are, Chad, and like I am, and
you
I
have to choose things.
I haven't been. Yeah, there is a thing we call a line of credit, where over the course of the football season, you need to be kind of picking and choosing. Okay,
I'm giving that up tonight to go to the Spurrier event. She doesn't know yet.
So there you go. So your balance is 0 right now.
Yeah.
So
it's going negative. She just heard that live.
So this is a game for me where I am building up some credit here. So this is a 1 for me. I will wait to get the recap from you on Friday.
Waiting for this text right here. If I
get right.
No, I would not waste any. You have to do that. We are both married, so you have to. You know that if you're married with kids or if you're married, you have to choose these. When you could wake up with a hangover from Friday night and literally not get out of bed watching College Game Day, roll over to microwave or put some Hot Pockets in there, and then get back to the couch to watch more football. That's one thing. You do not count for our beater here because you're like glued to the TV and watching everything. I got my iPhone, I got my iPad, I got 4 iPads, I got my. You're watching every game and you're recording the other 3 at the same time. For you people,
that's Sunday afternoon for me.
That was called 2011 for me. So you know what? That's not happening now. So we're moving on to the realistic nature of life. Moving on here to the next one. 7 o'clock, Georgia Tech and Clemson in a battle where, man, the Rambling Wreck in this one, 37-point underdogs to Clemson. What has happened? This is the first game, though, that, remember, you know what I'm going to say, glued and loving it? Because, A, this is a better football game than FAMU UCF because it's 2 teams we've heard of. And second part to this, Georgia Tech, for the first time in pretty much a lot of people's lifetime, we're not going to watch the triple option attack. It's going to be Paul Johnson's been there for so long since Navy that we've gotten so used to it. Not a lot of people remember the Chan Gailey era at Georgia Tech. Coach Dave Wilson, who comes on the show all the time and is working with Quint Studer with Studer 55 with Derek Brooks, does the Under Armour football under the lights. Just a great guy to have on, and we're going to have him on throughout the season. Coached at Georgia Tech, and a lot of people don't remember anything outside of the triple option attack. So it's going to be fun to see a whole new regime there, even though they have, according to ESPN, a 1.2% chance of winning this game. Those are teams you can get behind, though, and watch, even though this is going to be a blowout.
Yeah, and this is probably a 2 for me. Okay. Like I said, first of all, I don't even know if I have the ACC network. So if I'm tuning my channels,
that's true.
If I'm channel surfing and my wife stumbles on a movie that she really wants to watch, I'm not going to argue and say, "Babe, Georgia Tech Clemson's on."
Yeah, you can't take that one over.
But if I stumble on it, I'll tune in for a little bit.
With some of these DirecTV things, how do we even know if any of our games are on anymore? I don't know. Somebody was saying today they have to make a decision with CBS and NBC.
Yeah, my dad's been talking about. He's at the point where he's got to get the antenna as the backup option, because I know NBC I think made an agreement, but they maybe
better
I'm
for
wrong
Notre
on
Dame. That Peacock for Notre Dame is.
Yeah, we're getting
real
close.
fears. Yeah,
but yeah, so he's sweating it out right now. But so ACC Network, I know it's here. I have no idea if I get it or not, but I would prefer to find out organically just by flipping channels. So.
Peacock is the one animal, if you go to the zoo, that is not caged. But you better cage this peacock if they don't show Notre Dame. I'm telling you that much. Looking at the next one here, SEC Network. I know I have that one. They have about 4 SEC Network channels, although only one of them really doesn't say thank you for viewing. Looking at this one, Texas State versus Texas A&M. I actually am very intrigued with Texas A&M because I do believe, even though they're 12 and Florida was 8, I think Texas A&M is taking the right steps with Jimbo into building a physical team. But I'm not sure Kellen Mond is going to be a quarterback, and we're not going to know against Texas State.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and go with the glance on this one. I think a lot of these games on this day all deserve a glance. That's what we're seeing from Thursday football. That's
I would disagree with you on the next one.
Okay.
But yes, for this one, again, I'm not going to go out of my way to find it. If I stumble upon it, I'll watch for a little bit, yeah.
All right, the next one is Utah and BYU.
I'm all in on this one.
Okay.
And the reason is, number one, it's a rivalry game.
Yes.
It's a week 1 rivalry game.
It's true.
Folks probably aren't too familiar. They call it the Holy War. How cool is that name, right? So, and Utah, we've heard all the talk about, hey, this could be a legitimate contender out of the Pac-12. So them having a rivalry game week 1 at BYU, I'm excited for this. I'm all in on this one.
I think that's a good one right there. First off, your comment about how cool is the Holy War. You also have to look at the possibility of many people in the persecution, so that very offensive. I'm just kidding. Yeah, please don't bring this offensive.
I didn't name it.
No, I do love that battle though. The other games on here are pretty much not that big of a deal.
Yeah, no, Friday we got Tulsa, Michigan State, Wisconsin, South Florida. I may tune in for that. I don't know.
I don't see any others. I mean, I'm seeing Robert Morris at
Thursday.
Buffalo.
No, on Thursday. Are you looking at Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for Thursday.
UCLA at Cincinnati is probably the best unranked game right there.
Are we doing just Thursday, or we're not?
No, we're moving on now.
Okay.
We're moving on. Friday, Tulsa at Michigan State, our ranked game.
Probably a 1 on that.
I'm probably, just because it's FS1 and I don't have to search a lot, I'll probably be watching like a Rays baseball game and scroll down a channel to watch that. Wisconsin at USF doubles. I would love to just watch Wisconsin crush them because I am not a Bulls fan, as you can tell when you go to UCF. Not too many people. I'm going to go to I'm going to go that like a 2.5 on this one.
Yeah. If I didn't have the football game to go to the high school football game, I mean, these are 2 games where I am building up the line of credit with my wife. I'm saying, babe, I wanted to show you just how much I love you tonight, and I'm going to take you out to a nice steak dinner. We're going to go to a movie. It's going to be a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, all the teams.
So I got 1s across the board here on Friday.
Everybody dancing pretty much is on Saturday. I'm not seeing anything on Thursday or Friday to get your to get into like a full disco dancing groove going on here. Like Oklahoma State and Oregon State, those Beavers are going to stink this year. This team, none of these games I'm looking at are anything worth
I may
wild
tune
on that
into
one.
Colorado State, Colorado. That's another rivalry game, not ranked or anything like that, but it's a rivalry.
I got, by the way, we're going through this right here, and I got sidetracked by the 17 most attractive female billionaires. So all of that being said, that is a kind way to put that all together. Looking at our next one here with the Ohio State Buckeyes and FAU right there. That one kicked off. I'm sure you're going to be glued and loving it.
I'll be in on that. But again, I'm at the point now where I don't need to see Ohio State play every week. And again, just trying to build up the line of credit for when, I do need to see him. But this is a 2 for me. I plan on watching, but I will not be broken if I do not get to see him.
I love watching Lane Kiffin just watch his team lose, though. That is fun.
Yeah?
There's some coaches I enjoy watching their faces, them lose. I bet many people do with Saban and Belichick. I think collectively around the country, probably Saban and Belichick are the two most excited for the rest of the world to watch lose. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody just watches. They never lose. That's the thing. Urban Meyer was one of those, sorry, but most people want to see him lose too. Looking at this one here, Northern Iowa at Iowa State. We'll just move on. I'm going to start giving you South Alabama at Nebraska. I didn't think that was going to draw too much interest here.
That. Although, local interest, there's a lot of South Alabama fans around here.
Steve Campbell, he was from Pensacola, their head coach. Yeah. So there you go.
The new look Nebraska Cornhuskers, but this is a 1 for me.
Duke at Alabama.
I don't need to see this one. I will watch it. But as far as, the watchability for me, it's a 2. I'm going to tune in. I'll probably having some conversation. We'll be catching up with the wife about how her day's going. I'm not gonna. My eyes are not gonna be glued to the TV here.
And here we go as we move on here real fast to the big game that everybody, I think, finally we might have a 3, folks, and that is the game between two teams that we've talked about who have a chance to move on here, and that is Oregon and Auburn. 11 versus 16 at 6:30 on ABC.
I'm a 3 on that one.
I'm a 3 on that one as well. I think that's the 3. That's the glued and loving it. If you're planning your week around these games, it should be based solely on that 6:30 kickoff. Also, well, you know what? That's true though. You know what? I'm going to be glued and loving it while I'm glued and loving another game because Florida State, Boise State. I got a lot of intrigue this year on Florida State.
You got Florida State. There's a few here in this window.
Nichols and Kansas State. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Georgia, Vandy.
Monmouth and Western. No, Georgia and Vandy's, and I'm not too big on that one. Georgia's going to kick their butt.
Stanford, Northwestern is sneaky good to me.
Miami versus Ohio. No. Looking at this one as well, and then it gets down the late night game. What is the game when everybody else is falling asleep that we might get to watch?
USC Fresno.
Virginia at Pittsburgh. I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm not seeing that one. Fresno at USC is probably that game, yes. So not the best. And then Sunday, why not throw us Houston? I'm looking forward to that. Dana Holgerson took some money.
Yeah.
And at Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts first start. This is going to be intriguing to see. And then on Monday, it is Labor Day, Notre Dame and Louisville. When we come back, we'll talk a little, walking away from over $58 million. But when you have $100 million in the bank, one guy that could probably help you make $100 million more, and those are my words, not his, but I'm sure he would shake his head yes to that. Our good friend John Steele from The Retirement Planners will join us when we return right here on the Sports Drive.
Tab Book Bar and Bistro is the South's premier destination for high-energy sports entertainment. Enjoy award-winning food and a wide variety of draft beer selections with a local flair. Featuring a giant video wall, dozens of HD TVs, and a smoke-free video poker bar, there's no better place to be for sports entertainment. Join us at Tab Book Bar and Bistro, only at Beau Rivage. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office.
Well, we're very appreciative to Dabo Swinney, the head coach of the national champion Clemson Tigers, to take the time to be with us.
Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio.
He does possess the skills necessary to play and be successful in the National Football League or anywhere else.
And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
The new season of 30 for 30 podcasts is here.
I don't know if I'm surprised or not. I didn't like the comments, obviously.
A 5-part series on former Clippers owner Donald Sterling.
I'm sure the NBA knew we have a bad apple, and he finally up it, and we have proof now.
The Sterling Affairs from 30 for 30 podcasts and The Undefeated.
You can hear it in my voice that I'm upset with it because I know these guys still might go out there and play.
Find it wherever you get your podcasts or at 30for30podcast.com/Sterling.
ESPN Pensacola is now on 1330 AM and 99.1 FM. This means you can hear ESPN Pensacola better than ever before with the same great shows like Golick and Wingo, the Dan Levitar Show with Stugatz, and the Paul Feinbaum Show, plus live and local sports on the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante, Talk Football with Coach K, and Sports Call with Davis and Justin. The same station, an improved signal, and a new name. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
Calling all Florida State Seminole fans, Tomahawk Talk is here. Tune in each Wednesday afternoon from 1 till 2 right here on ESPN Pensacola 99.1 AM 1330 to get the latest on Florida State football. Hear from the experts, the superfans, and even some former players about what's happening on the field from the sidelines to the locker room. It's Tomahawk Talk this Wednesday starting at 1 o'clock on ESPN Pensacola 99.1 AM 1330.
Presented in part by Gross & Schuster, attorney at law.
This is Davis Allen, co-host of Sports Call with Davis and Justin. Catch Justin, Patrick, and me every Saturday from 11 to 1. College football is finally back, so join us this Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1 is all about high school football. Catch the biggest local games every Friday night on Pensacola's home for local sports and our sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1, also on 94.5. You can also catch us at ESPNpensacola.com and on YouTube and Facebook. If you didn't catch the show, you can always be scrolling through your phone like everybody does. Don't lie to yourself late at night and you're just looking there and you see something pop up. Go to ESPN Pensacola, like our Facebook page, and have a chance to watch it at any time. So you can go back. If you always know somebody's on at one time, like you want the best financial advice, Tuesdays at about 5:45, even though we always run about 4 minutes later.
You'll get
That's
the best
right.
financial advice.
That's right.
Yeah,
John
you'll
Steele
get it.
joins us. That's right here.
You get it.
John, what's happening, my friend? You just got to see Ozzie Smith, by the way.
Yes, I did. I was in St. Louis all last week, seeing a lot of clients and helping them solve problems. And I went to Annie Gunn's restaurant in West County, and sitting at the table next to me was a gentleman with almost all white hair now.
He looks like an actual wizard now.
Yes, he does. He looks a lot like a wizard.
He was fun to watch. That's when we actually cared to give guys Hall of Fame credibility for not being a huge superhero juicing crusher. You know, like one of those kind of guys that hits the ball 500 feet but can't play first base to save their life.
How many shortstops, when they go on the field, they do a forward flip?
Nobody. If you did that today, there would be a lot of GMs that would be calling you into the office saying, we are paying you $30 million a year, so don't ever try that again. Like back then, he was worth about, even the stars. I love that team, by the way. Vince Coleman, Willie McGee, Jose Akendo, Pedro Guerrero. Look, I'm a baseball enthusiast.
I go back a little bit back to Bob Gibson. That was,
I do not know that team as well. I was not alive for that.
Well, they won the World Series.
I do know that. He pitched actually almost had a perfect game. He struck out 17, I believe, in that. Yeah. Bob Gibson, it was if Bob Gibson played a little bit longer for his time, he was one of those rare breeds where every generation has one or two. That a guy that could play at any time.
Yeah.
There are some football players where you look at like a, Ed Too Tall Jones, or one of those kind of guys that was 6'7", 290 pounds when he was in the 70s, could still play today. Jim Brown could have still run over. I don't know if Jim Brown would have been a Hall of Famer today, but he could have played in the NFL today for his size and speed. Some guys, they can play at any time, any level. Wilt Chamberlain could have played today in the NBA. Artis Gilmore. But it's a different game today.
Our cousin Michael Jordan.
Yeah, but Bill Russell. I mean, even as one of the best of all time, Bill Russell was good. But Bill Russell's stats today, if you put, and I think this is realistic, but if you put Bill Russell versus, let's go with like a Marc Gasol, that'd be a very good matchup today in the NBA. There wasn't too many 7'1", 270 guys that could shoot threes back in the day when they played. It's a different game today. It's a completely different game. All the big guys back then were big guys. Look at the stats. Like Mark Eaton for the Jazz, who was 7'5", 400 pounds almost. All he did was pretty much grab every rebound and score layups if he got the ball under the hoop. None of those guys could shoot threes back in the day at that size. It's a different game today, and it's played that way. Ozzie Smith, though, could have played shortstop anytime, anywhere.
I was going to say, like, Ozzie played when shortstops were shortstops.
Shortstops.
Man.
Omar Vizquel.
I was looking at the stats here. He played 19 years. Guess how many home runs he hit? He had 28 for his career.
Yes,
you know,
but he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah,
but it's like, you know, nowadays it's like, you know, we kind of have been spoiled because, you know, you have shortstops like Jeter is good for about 15 a game, or 15 a year rather. Troy Tulowitzki out here hitting 30 home runs. Hanley Ramirez in his prime with the Marlins. But yeah, give me a shortstop who was a defensive guru who hit, you know, 1 home run a season, could bat about 255. That was when shortstops were shortstops, man.
And you met him while he was an actual wizard. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
When we come back, we're going to talk John Steele, retirement planners, a little more on some of the big contracts, including Andrew Luck, right here. Second hour of the Sports Drive goes now.
It's almost fall, and that means football. And ESPN Pensacola 1330 is all about football. We've got UWF Argos football every Saturday, high school football every Friday night. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1 WEBY Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
And abbreviated second hour of the program, Blue Wahoo starting at 6:30. Coming back, we're talking athletes who retired in our minds too soon. We got the list here. We'll talk about them next. Who we would have liked to have seen more. Coming back.
Just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. It's across the middle, and it's caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Emma scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back. Second hour of the Sports Drive goes now. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. Heard all the way across the southeast now and a man familiar with WEBY throughout the years on 1330.
Yeah.
John Steele.
I was only there 8 years.
Only 8 years.
8 years.
He's been there.
Hey, everybody. Remember me?
Well, welcome back here, John. It's good to see you. How was the trip, by the way? Are they still celebrating and basking in the glory of the St. Louis Blues up there?
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, there were still people that haven't been sober since.
They're still on the streets.
Hey, that's the hometown of Anheuser-Busch. What do you expect?
Sir, we gave you 4 months to just get off the street. Come on, man.
No, man. They're still drinking.
Took it from the Red Sox.
Yeah. In fact, one of my
from the Bruins.
One of my clients up there is in his 80s, and he owns a beer distributorship, and his front license plates is BYAPBR. Buy a Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh, okay.
That's a big beer up there.
Well, I'm telling you, overall, there's been a lot of athletes. Andrew Luck retired this week. He has made $58 million in his career, or actually $100 million in his career. He gave up. He walked away from $58 million. But the guy, for the last 6 years of his 8-year career, pretty much, or after 7 seasons, torn cartilage in 2 ribs, partially torn abdomen, a lacerated kidney that left him peeing blood, at least 2 concussions, a torn labrum in his throwing shoulder, and a mysterious ankle injury that ended his career. John, it's hard for us to really tell somebody that they should not be able to walk away, especially when they're walking away from $58 million, when you've had this much just completely getting driven to the ground throughout your career. I've got no problem with him making this decision.
I admire him greatly, and I say that because – regardless, I'm in the money business, okay?
Yes.
But, there's actually things in life more important than money. There are actually a couple of things, more important, like staying alive, your health, your family, your kids. And then somewhere down below that comes money. Now, you need money to support all those kinds of things, but it's not what's most important. And I admire him greatly for being able to, come to the decision and say, in fact, that I'm a cheesehead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know that.
I know.
So I had to follow exactly what Aaron Rodgers said about him and how upset he got that the fans booed him on the field. I mean, that's classless. For the fans they should have been giving him a standing ovation and said, thank you for while you were here and doing the best you could do. But no, that was a sad thing but I got no problem whatsoever that he made that decision to go. And there's a lot of people throughout history that have made that decision at their prime and left their particular sport, and for a myriad of reasons. And it doesn't matter what their reasons are. They're theirs.
And it should be only theirs.
It is only theirs. It's only their life. Now, does a good quarterback affect other people by quitting? Yeah. But, in his life, he's got to get up one every morning and look in the mirror when he shaves and go,
well, he doesn't shave, actually. So.
He hasn't reached...
Beside the point, yeah.
Well, he hasn't reached puberty yet?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
And his facial hair, it's a little offbeat. But
yeah,
overall, no. I do believe, though, that this is something that is a decision that should only be made between Andrew and his family, as it doesn't affect. He's given Indianapolis everything, and Indianapolis has given him very minimal in return besides finances, which makes, if you looked at that on the surface, like that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But no, I'm talking about from a standpoint of football, from the football world, foosball. Yes. He has given them everything, and they've given him Donta Moncrief, T.Y. Hilton, a host of running backs that are pretty bad, and you just start a new week on every week from Hines to guys you'd never heard of that were back there. He wasn't given a great roster around him. Like, take Andrew Luck and replace him with what Nick Foles walked into in Philadelphia when Carson Wentz got hurt. Imagine giving Andrew Luck Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz and guys all over that field. It would be a completely different type of world.
And he may not have walked away.
Exactly, and he may not be on his back, and he may not be peeing blood. He may not be having 2 concussions, a torn labrum, a bad abdomen, ribs taken out. None of that if he was given the opportunity and the tools. You think with Sean McVay and that Rams offense he would be in this situation?
Now, see, in the years I played football, if your quarterback got hurt, you as the lineman, it was your fault.
Yes, but they're still getting paid.
Yeah, that's okay. But you know, I mean, I remember getting chewed out really hard. You know, somebody got our quarterback. He come on your side. Why didn't you kill him? You know, I mean, and so anyway.
Looking at some of the other players, though, as we talked about, he did end his career, though, regardless, at a time where he still had a lot in his prime. I mean, Andrew Luck was still looked at on that short list, whoever you are, whether you're a Russell Wilson fan up in the Northwest, whether you're a fan of Patrick Mahomes out there. I like to put things out there and catch up, and I love Tyreek Hill. I'm glad he's back. And whatever you are, a fan of Tom Brady or Drew Brees or wherever you look, Aaron Rodgers, discount, double check it for whatever. But on top of all that, looking at a guy like Andrew Luck, he was on that short list. And he still had a lot left in the tank. But overall, there's a lot of guys that have stepped away. What's the guy? What is the guy that you remember the most about stepping away from the game, John? As we take a look here, and you can weigh in 850-972-1945. What guy do you, the person that stepped away, that you always remember the most in sports, that you always want to see just a little bit more?
He asked me that, and I was trying to think of who that would be, and I really. Because everybody I know that stepped away, you know, I would read their story and check out what they did, and all of them I met had a valid reason. And so, you know, I kind of bon voyage.
Was that on or off air that you asked that question?
Yeah, off air.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, but let's come
I
back to the
daydreamed
point.
Before.
Let's come back from the point.
He just asked that question to me.
What? You guys are the sports expert. I'm the money expert. Okay, so
yes.
let's come from the point. Andrew Luck, gosh.
What president?
$100 million worth of seed money.
What president stepped away from your wallet that you would love to see return?
Benjamin Franklin.
He's not
by
the non-president. I was going to say. Is Woodrow Wilson?
I'll elect him. You know, I mean, no.
Didn't Woodrow Wilson have a $100,000 bill?
I don't remember whether he did or not. I think he did. It was either a 100 or
Woodrow's
10,000.
always just if you go to a club and you're dropping Woodrows, then you're really cool.
I thought it was a $10,000 bill or 1,000.
I think he was 100,000. I want to say that there was one president, Woodrow Wilson.
Now I saw Obama on a $1 million bill. Yeah, those were floating all over the place. I mean, in fact, I thought I got a kick out of it that President Trump last week was trying to upstage Obama by giving an award to a basketball player. See, I didn't know Trump was a basketball fan. Who did he give an award to last week? The highest award you can give to a civilian.
I remember hearing about this. I don't remember who.
Dikembe Mutombo?
I think his first name was Bob. And he played for some team there in the East Coast.
Celtics, right?
Cousy?
Celtics.
Bob Cousy.
You got it. So Bob Cousy last week
Not too many basketball players named Bob. That's
well, I was trying to narrow that down.
Usually a short white guy's name. There's not too many of those guys in basketball.
Well, he wasn't all that short, but he was a white guy. I mean,
that's good old Bobo right there.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. That's what we called it back in the '60s when we used to hang out down there by the getting back to this. I think there's a lot of guys that walk away, and it is something today that they have more of an. Do you think? Let's take a look at this. Andrew Luck's a smart guy, and frankly, his decisions are his. But let's revert back to the '80s, and Andrew Luck is in this situation, and instead of $100 million, he's got $1 million in his account. But in today's money, this has gotten very complicated, folks. Do you think he walks away from $1 million? Let's just cut out any age. Do you think he walks away with $1 million in his bank account today?
No, back in, if you're talking about back in the 80s.
No. It's today's money. Because back in the 80s, he could have lived on that.
Just a minute now.
Bought a whole entire plot of land.
Are you putting him in the 80s or the money in the 80s?
With a million. If he played in the 70s or 80s with a million, he might have been able to buy a neighborhood and then built a bunch of hotel properties. So
when you opened this up,
today,
you said,
today.
Back
I know,
in the 80s, if he had $1 million,
it would be completely different. So we're confusing people now on this case. So
I'm not.
Let's go ahead and just say,
in my mind, like I'm the scene in The Hangover where Zach Galifianakis is counting cards and he's got the little math equations. That's what's happening to me right now.
If he had $1 million,
he'd be taking a break and doing a Rubik's Cube.
Regardless of the $100 million, we just take away 2 zeros, and he has $1 million now in the bank.
I think so. Because again, I mean, we're talking about Andrew Luck, the person. We're talking about like his upbringing, and he is a unique guy. He's a different guy. So yeah, I mean, I think he never needed football. He's got the architectural degree from Stanford.
Yep.
He's got any way that he could go as far as careers go, yeah, I would imagine that he would have a job, maybe helping out his dad in the XFL. Maybe he finds himself an off-the-field role in the NFL, or he just wants to go build stadiums for the next 30 to 40 years.
That was my idea. I mentioned that earlier.
So I mean, his situation is so unique. I mean, he has been so grounded in just his upbringing and very diversified in his interests that, I think that Andrew Luck, regardless of the financial situation, he has plenty to look forward to as far as future earning potential. Maybe not the $450 million, whatever number Jim Irsay was throwing around the other day, but he's got a long way to go, and he'll be 100% fine.
But here's what jumped into my head when you said back in the 80s, okay, and you kind of wanted to. So I said, okay, football players in the 80s, they didn't make this kind of money, nothing close. They played back then because they really wanted to play, okay, and most of them played right on through the hurt. I mean, they
also didn't know better. On some, I'm just saying they didn't know that their brain was starting to look like
Jello.
Some kind of one of the
Jello.
Incredible Blob movie,
Yeah. But so you have to understand, there's a whole different attitude about professional
the size
athletes
and the
today.
speed was also not as violent as it is now.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I just look at it. He set himself up in a good situation. He's walking away at a time where, you know what, frankly, I don't think, too, also, it's not being really reported as much because it's like you think it's a courageous thing, or it's he's leaving your fantasy football roster like O.J. Simpson, who frankly, who cares at this point. But overall, I think one of the things that's getting lost a lot is that mysterious ankle injury probably did him in. I mean, that was, if this was a week and a half ago and that didn't happen, Andrew Luck didn't make this decision. Some people were saying that why would he set his team up for failure by making this announcement now. Back in April, when the draft was coming around, when Indianapolis could have drafted a quarterback, because nobody was like, well, we've got a great backup option in Jacoby Brissett. They would have drafted somebody or tried to make a trade for Rosen or something if they knew this. Back then, when they made this decision, Andrew Luck was their quarterback. About a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when he got this ankle injury that was reported, that's when he said, guys, I can barely walk right now, let alone get ready for this season. I'm done. This is the one that finally put me in. It's like that car. Yeah. It's got 280,000 miles. You're like, I can get this around the block. And then the starter goes. And then the engine completely fails. And you're like, I'm not going to go spend more on a new engine than this car is worth
the old story.
In parts.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
It is. That ankle injury is what put him in. So for the people, he wasn't deciding to retire this year before this happened. I want to make that clear for most people out there.
And I think because of his love of the game, his love for the city of Indianapolis, for the love of his teammates, he was going to exhaust all of the options to try to go this year. And I think if it was up to Andrew Luck, I think he would have loved to have just given it one more year with the idea in mind, hey, this is it for me. I want to give you guys plenty of time to prepare or whatever, but this is where I'm at right now. For all we know, that could have been the conversation a couple of weeks ago where he went into Frank Reich, Chris Ballard, and said, guys, this is it for me. I can't do this anymore. I'm going to give you guys a year. I'm going to give you guys everything I have, try to play through it. But then, with the ankle, it apparently just wasn't responding right, or maybe the doctors still hadn't figured out, okay, this is what we need to do to correct it. And, I think that probably explains the timing for why now, because, there's no perfect time to retire. There's certainly better times, a couple months before the draft, after the season, last season ends. But no, I think Andrew tried to go. I think he wanted to play, and his body just said no.
When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with a NASCAR driver that said it was time to go. He heard the voices.
Give me a degree in architecture from Stanford and $100 million seed money, and I'm fine.
Yeah, let me go ahead.
I'm good with just $100 you can keep the degree. I'll just take the $100 million.
You could have stopped that real quickly, and we would all walked out here at any moment. The next thing out of your mouth, the show would have been over. I would have taken the cash. And Joe, good luck hosting tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're coming back for more right here, but that's all hypothetical, and that big fairy, get out of here, is not here. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
Gordon Auto Wholesale says yes. No credit, bad credit, bankruptcies, no problem. Over 250 vehicles in stock. Third-row SUVs and trucks. Everyone's approved. Gordon Auto Wholesale is the bank and can help you get into a nice, clean vehicle. Carfax checked. Need a new car? Gordon Auto says yes. Can't buy one from other dealers? Come see Gordon Auto Wholesale on Palafox, just 2 blocks south of Airport. Or call 479-9200. That's 479-9200.
Hi, this is Terrence A. Gross. Did you know that there are over 93,000 attorneys in the state of Florida? Both myself and my partner Charles Schuster are 2 of only 1,000 attorneys who are board-certified civil trial lawyers in this state. Our law firm handles only people that have been injured due to the negligence of another. If you need a personal injury and wrongful death attorney, call Gross & Schuster at 434-3333, 434-3333. You can also visit us at our website at grossandschuster.com.
Fall is just around the corner, but riding season is not over yet. This Thursday, it's Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Ride out to Harley-Davidson of Pensacola this Thursday for live music from A Touch of Blue. Enjoy some barbecue from Smokin' Joe's, and Harley Angels will be serving free drinks. Right now, get full retail on your trade towards a new Harley-Davidson. It's all Thursday. Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Let's ride.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
I'm really hungry, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Well, you're in luck. Now you can get Denny's Super Slam with 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, 2 sausage links, hash browns, and 2 pancakes, all for just $5.99.
That is a great deal. So I get all of that for just $5.99?
You sure do.
Wow, this meal just keeps getting better and better.
Some might say super.
I see what you did there.
The $5.99 Super Slam is back. See you at Denny's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. No substitutions.
Does pain have you sidelined on the bench? Clearway Pain Solutions wants you back in the game. Our team of compassionate, board-certified pain specialists, chiropractors, and physical therapists will relieve your pain and restore your function. For comprehensive, patient-centered care, visit a Clearway doctor at one of our convenient locations near you. Call Clearway Pain Solutions today at 855-527-PAIN or visit our website at clearwaypain.com. That's 855-527-PAIN or clearwaypain.com.
At ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1, we are football. Catch the biggest high school football games on Fridays. Every UWF game on Saturdays. Then on Sundays, get ready for big games with the NFL Tailgate Show from 10 till noon. Plus, talk football with Coach K weekdays from noon till 1, recapping the games and breaking down the upcoming matchups. It's football season, and it's on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1. Chad Brillante, Joe Ford, John Steele of the Retirement Planners, helping you with all of your financial advice. He was actually the angel, not the devil, on Andrew Luck's shoulder. That said,
yeah, hey, that's
keep
true.
the $100 million.
Keep the $100 million.
And be able to walk with it. So
hey, not a problem, man.
Could be, What's $100 million? I mean, as you get older, though, and when I say as you get older, I'm 34, and with a 3-year-old and a wife and things like that, you realize every single minute you get older that how important it is to be able to use your money in your path of life.
Yes, absolutely.
So I look at this right here. Yeah.
In fact, one of the things that always disappointed me in my industry is most people go to certain financial advisors, the other guys, and basically their money's over here and their life's over here. And nobody ever takes the time to design their money so it will support their life. And so you see people, I've got people that are 65 years old, okay, living like they're in poverty, and they got $2 million because their money's locked up over here, and nobody ever said, hey, you're supposed to use a little of this, at least the gain off of it or something, and that way you can, you don't have to live in this little 2-room shack out here in East Milton, okay? Yeah, so, and I run into that all the time.
No offense to those living in 2-room shacks in Milton right now, but just
well,
let's
put it this way: if they are sitting in a 2-room shack in East Milton
and they have $2 million,
and they got $2 million,
shame on them.
You call 995-1999, and I'll hip you.
Because I'll give you a guest home for free each week, but you just fund me some of that money for like fun things to do, like buy me a new Mercedes. But
right. But it's serious, because you're talking about, you're trying to make money and do the things that you want to do. Okay, lots of people make money, for the sake of making money, and they never have a life.
And never, yeah.
I mean, now I don't know about you guys, but I haven't figured out a way I can take it with me.
Yeah.
I mean, if I die, I can't take it with me. You know what I mean?
That's what the will's for. And my last name is spelled with one F.
Yeah, actually, you want to trust. The will's just a letter of instruction to the probate judge, and he doesn't have to obey it.
But yeah, you're exactly right. A lot of these athletes, though, getting the opportunity. I think one of the best, like in your face, boom, drop the mic moment was Peyton Barber. He was the running back for the Auburn Tigers.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm. And you remember this story?
I don't remember the story. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around.
It was probably
I haven't
his
heard
time.
the name Peyton Barber
before your time, Joe. I think you're
in like
yeah. Only us guys, old timers, right here.
Old guys.
Let me go to Wikipedia.
Born in 1985. No. You don't Wikipedia this. I'm going to tell the story now.
He's not.
You had your shot here.
He's Googling it.
Now that you're Googling this story, you've lost your mark here. I will tell the story here.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm stopping. Peyton Barber, doesn't he play for the Buccaneers?
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the story. It's not. We're leading this up into like a Disney movie. It's not that great.
All right.
But the story was a guy during the time of the draft. They said, "Why would you leave early? I can't believe you left your team. You didn't even lead your team in running. They had Cameron Petway and Kerryon Johnson.
Okay.
They had a lot of guys during that time. Well, he goes out and he says, well, if I can get a shot at the NFL, I'm taking it. And they're sitting there going, well, why don't you go back to college one more year and become the star running back and then make more money at the next level?" And he goes, well, at this point, and he said it humbly too. I remember I was sitting there at the presser and I was saying, he goes, well, I just want to feed my family because my mom is homeless living in a car. And the guy was like, started like creep out the room, good luck, in your future. I'm fired. But no, he asked the question and pretty much said, why are you giving up? And we don't know everybody's story. We look at every athlete, we look at every player as a commodity. Yeah. We don't know the situation. If Tua went back to college one more year because it was always maybe one of his father's, he always wanted to graduate college. That'd be a very rare thing when you have $100 million on the table. What is a degree? When your degree, to me, I think sometimes people forget the main part of a degree is so you can get a great job and education from that degree, be able to serve and feed your family the rest of your life. A diploma on the wall is meant so you always have something for your family that you know that you're safe because you can always feed them. But if you have that degree to someone's offering you $100 million, go take the $100 million and the endorsements and the deals because that's what you work for anyway. However, for Peyton Barber's situation, when he said, no, I am leaving to go play in the NFL because my mom is homeless living in a car right now, and if I could just make a team. And they got a chance. He was a 6th-round draft pick by the Bucs. 2 injuries occur. Muscle hamster Doug Martin, he becomes a starter, and he made enough. I think it was $880,000, but it was something, obviously enough, $880,000. And his mom's obviously not living in a van.
Chicken feed to a guy like you.
She's doing okay. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, chicken. Just deer feed out there for the. But how about that? I mean, sometimes you just never know the story of why the guys decided to make that move.
No, you don't. You don't know what's behind a lot of these people. or what motivates them, or what causes them to do things. You know, I used to run into that into the military all the time because you know, I deployed. I was in 20 years, and you'd meet some new dude that, you know, that I either got to supervise or whatever, and you'd size him up and you'd make some judgments about him, and then within the next month you'd start hearing his story, and you'd go, what? It's like one kid. His name was Vinny Colella, okay, and Vinny Colella was from New York. Yeah, and Vinny, he joined the Navy. You know why he joined the Navy? It's because he saw these guys running numbers in his neighborhood, and he decided to cut in and run his own numbers, and they decided that he needed to leave town, so he joined the Navy before they killed him. But he's also the same guy that told me that milk didn't come from cows. And so I go, what do you mean?
And chocolate milk only came from brown cows.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm. I know where milk comes from. He goes, no, it's get manufactured in these little wax cartons. He says that's where milk comes from. And so I started digging into his background. The kid had lived on the street from the time he was 8 till he was old enough to join the Navy, and just survived on the street. He didn't even have a home. He didn't have no place to go. Little Vinny Colella.
Wow.
But you know, so until you know why these people, and you don't know their story, you don't know what brings them. And the same with a lot of the athletes. You know, how many young African American males are busting their butt at this moment right now, hoping to dream of one shot at the NBA, because that's their only way out of the environment they're in. You know, they're not going to get a chance. And you can go to Baltimore. What was Baltimore public school system? Not one child in the Baltimore public high school system is proficient in math or English. Not one. So what chance do they have? So anyway.
Well, we got the Blue Wahoos coming up here in about a minute. It will be their last home game right
Is it
there.
really?
That's
Blue Wahoos?
Last home game of the season right there. So, yeah, I know. I hear your commercials, and I hear your name out there. And the retirement planners. They got you.
Yeah, they got me. They
got
me by the wallet.
That's right. Wahoo! They snagged you just like that fish, reeling in and having some fun. Well, John, we always have a blast with you. We'll look forward to doing this next week as John Steele from the Retirement Planners. Give that number out one more time.
What is it now? 995-1999? Yeah, that's what it is. 995-1999. That's what it is.
Joe, get some sleep, because I know you're in the same boat as I am. So, yeah, we actually have a cot over in the side, not together, but just... Folks, this is leading the path of the last 30 seconds has led once again down a road where I was just saying, go home, Joe, and get some sleep, and it led somewhere south. So, guys, on that note, have a great rest of your night. And as always, enjoy some Wahoos. Don't take anything I said in the last 30 seconds seriously, and God bless.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and